Hello, America. I'm Bob Jones, and this is the Bob Jones Show. Today, I got a few topics we're going to talk about because they need to be talked about. Because they're good, soy-free topics, or at least topics I wish to make soy-free. Now, I want to start with this Kurt Belcher, this soy-induced man-baby of a child. He's trying to say that his viewpoints are valid, that he has good things to say about comics. Well, let me put it to you like this. This soy-filled man, baby, this always punch Nazis, trying to have-ass individual that thinks he knows what he's talking about. Well, Michael Moody, a strong soy-free American, who on Twitter has been fighting these soy-filled invaders from Meticulous 9. This individual made a comment about Alterna. This is day 4 of this soy-invading attack on Alterna, on Peter Samedi, on a good, proud American patriot. Well, listen here, Kurt. We're gonna be talking about you personally. Now, this man, this moron, was all like the last, or this, let's start with what Michael said first. The last thing SJWs want is a publisher to hold them accountable for anything. This, Michael, is a true point. You are a patriot, and I salute you, sir. But this Kurt Belcher, this man baby, this soy invader, this individual who needs to put the soy down because he's bringing shame to his family. Alterna Comics refuses to denounce comics gators, instead blames creators for being ungrateful for being published by them. Well, that's what happened. Maybe if you actually paid attention to what was going on and just stopped drinking the soy, because it clouds your judgment, you'd understand. Now, he put this post on Facebook thinking that he linked to his Twitter like a dumbass. Well, listen here, Kurt. This post is why I call you a soy-filled man, baby. An invader that is drinking the soy of Meticulous 9 plant. Well, Kurt, this here is why I talked about you personally. And I'm going to do something I rarely do once again. I'm going to link it to chat so you can see it for yourself. Now, normally I don't pay attention to chat, but being the fact that I had it open for a second, hello, Sketch. You're a proud patriot that's bringing the soy out of comics. That's fighting the soy that has been invaded into comics. Now, Kurt, this is what happened. You thought you were smart. You thought you were being funny. But here's what you said that makes you look stupid. What's best to do with Comicsgate, you think? Question mark. Keep arguing with them? Question mark. Fight back and show them their shit heels? Question mark. Or just mute and block them and continue to push them out of your sphere and see what they continue to be pushed out until no one is paying attention to their bullshit anymore? Question mark. Well, listen here, Kurt. This is our space. This is our area. We let soy drinkers like you in, and you are trying to push us out. Well, now we're fighting back. And we are fighting back even harder than before. Now, listen here, soy drinker. My response to you, you mean space we let you in, and you've been trying to force us out ever since. He responded with, and I mind you posted a picture of the cycle of SJW inclusivity, which we know is not inclusive. You don't let me do anything. We're forcing out assholes who harass creators, and that by extension, you have no space here. Buzz off. But the thing is, we don't harass creators. We tell those creators what for. But you gotta twist everything we say because you can't handle truth because you are a soy-filled lily man. Moving on, because I think I've given this soy drinker, this ridiculous non-plant, enough screen time for one day. Now, we're gonna go to the whole Tug Peter Simeti exchange about what's been going on. The Umbrella Guy. Yeah, 3 indie publishers were harassed by these wonderful folks, including Alterna, for not walking lockstep when creators, publishers, distro, and on speak up too, because if not now, when? Consumers being told even when don't belong, lol, not a good business. Peter Simeti, the proud man that gets saluted by us all. The awful part is that I'm thanking people for reading books made by creators. The next train of thought is to insinuate that creators are making books that appeal to bigots. Where do the awful accusations end? Does it stop when someone commits suicide over a destroyed life? That's a good point, Peter. But these people don't understand that their actions are far worse than being, far worse than criticizing what they do. They infuse comics with soy. They infuse characters that were always strong and manly with the soy. And then when the consumers say, hey, these aren't who these characters were, why are you making them such soy? They respond back with, why are you harassing me? When we weren't harassing. You are the harassers. We have been the harassed. Now, Tug, another proud American patriot, who I salute proudly and daily. I can't imagine being a pro, but I can being a consumer and seeing people you've supported for years call you terrible names and worse because you expect professionalism and have feedback. Geeks are already insulated in many instances. What this does outside of ruined escapism, it's ugly. I know, Tug. I know, and it's what happens when Bendis and his ridiculous 9 invaders of the soy and their interdimensional Cebulski bot destroy the comic industry from within because they are so full of soy that they cannot hear, they cannot see anything but soy. Now, Tug and Peter Simeti had this exchange, and then Peter and Alterna put this out. It was the code of conduct that is expected from Alterna Comics. Our social media code of conduct has now been publicly made available to see on our submissions page, alternacomics.com. Submit your comment. Social media code of conduct. You are required and encouraged to actively promote your title on social media. We do not condone the use of block bots, blind blocking, blockchains, or any other kind of program or practice that is used to block thousands of people blindly in mass. We acknowledge that unpleasant experiences through social media sadly do occur, and creators can block mute individuals if they have had those unwanted poor experiences with them. But due to the fact that you would be part of creative team at Alterna and a team of retailers that would need to be able to confidently sell your comics as many people as possible, we have adopted that policy that encourages the use of anything that would directly affect our stance of full inclusion for readers and creators. We have readers of all walks of life, and it is paramount to us that we encourage, promote, and stand by your stance that comics are for everyone. As a creator, if you have poor experiences with anyone in relation to your work, online or otherwise, and feel that you are being threatened, reach out to us. We'll do anything within our power to work with you on how to handle the situation. We want all our readers and our creators to feel welcome. See, this is what good customer service looks like. You see that, Bendis? You see that, Tobolsky? This is what not being infused with soy looks like. This is what being for the customers looks like. This is what good soy-free comics look like. Now, I've actually gone all 11 minutes without a single pitch. I need to fix that. America, you need to go out and get you some soy-free comics in your diet. Support comics like Alterna. That's good soy-free storytelling. Support Indiegogos like Trump Space Force, like John Malin's Graveyard Shift, like Indiegogos like Ethan Van Sciver's Cyberfrog. These are good soy-free comics for good soy-free people. They do not bring soy into your diet, so you can support them knowing that you will not be receiving any soy. I need some soy-free coffee. Now, America, we have other things going on. I'm going to talk about Michael Moody once again. And he's talking about C. Edward Selner. Sending pics of your butthole out of the blue is not normal, man. What Selner said. Hashtag Comicsgate. I see you're now latching on to using anti-gate for your opposition. There's another term that's been around far before your existence, which is more descriptive. Normal people. The thing is, we all know you're lying. And anyone who's been following Comicsgate knows you're lying. Even normies that's coming in seeing what's going on know you're lying. Because we are proud Americans. We bring good soy-free storytelling to good soy-free Americans. The only people that believe your trick is the soy babies, the soy vaders, the ridiculous non-plants led by Bendis and his Bolsky bot. Now, we have other things being said, like the Vulture.com article. This is funny because we have a blue check mark here promoting it. Abram Rasman. Comicsgate is a scourge, and I don't know how we can fix it. The article is, the worst harassment campaign is comics is only growing. Then they try to say things like the Melissa Morgue comment. Only thing is, everyone knows that Melissa Morgue was a plant, was a fake, was a Tobolsky bot infused abomination. A demon that has created problems within the community. That lied about the community. Now, what we have here is an article written citing Melissa Morgue that we all know is pure shit. Now, we have things like, gotta catch my breath, America. Hold on. Now, we have other things, like Richard Pace, trying to backtrack, trying to say that he's not a violent, far-left ideologue that is infused with soy. Even though we've talked about him before on this show. We've talked about his soy-infused diatribes. His talking on Twitter like he knows what he's talking about. Well, I'm sorry, America, but Richard Pace, you have made your bed, now lie in it. We have the screen caps. We've seen the soy. Now, he says, I'm on board with identifying with a hate group and non-profit of profiting from the association while getting no public blowback for it. Not really. I'm on board with people pointing that out. That's fine. Not at all on board with threats of any sort. None were made there. Not there. The AYO comment was clear, though. Replacing Brett Weiser with Pace. How do you take it? Well, if the Brett Weisers are now anticipating something similar to the harassment and videos attacks I've experienced, I have empathy for them. But they chose to align with a hate group. I chose to oppose one. There's a cost for our actions. So they deserve it. Listen here, Pace. Nobody's made any threats at you. Everyone's just called you out for being a soy-filled man, baby. Everyone's called you out for your bullshit, for your lies that you've told to the American people. Listen here, Pace. None of us believe you when you say that you've been being harassed. None of us believe you when you say that you're on the side of angels, because we all know that you're on the side of demons, that you're on the side of Ridiculous 9. We know you're nothing more than a spy, a plant, a member of the cult of Soy. And we know that you follow Bendis, because Bendis leads all in this salvation of comics. Now, listen here, America. When Pace says these things, know that Pace is just trying to save face, trying to distance himself from the very monsters he created, the very monsters he's riled up and set loose on comics and the comic skaters. Now, we have Max Bemis, another blue checkmark. But before we get to that, we must pitch another good, soy-free Indiegogo. I want you to go out there and check out Jim Helis's Blue Mamba. It is a good soy-free comic made for good soy-free Americans. For those who wish to spread the joy of comics and take it away from the cult of soy. It's coffee time. All right, America. What this asshat said, what this demon of the soy said. That was heartwarming thrill ride. My first bigoted blacklisting kind of ride. You started a bigoted-led blacklisting? You hate every person who disagrees with your exact brand of feminist politics. If anyone points out your wildly incorrect facts, you stand behind women and use them as a human shield while you attack people. Jose Villalobos, I don't know how to say your name, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry because I cannot speak your language. I'm sorry because I failed you. You, a proud, red-blooded American patriot who's free of the soy. Jose, we welcome you to Comicsgate, and we are proud to have you. Now, Max Bemis, you are what's wrong with the industry. You are what's wrong with blue check marks. You should have yourself committed, sir. And mind you, this is coming from someone who knows about being committed. Committed because of my love for America, my love of comics, and my hatred of the soy. Now, Gary Dugan, another blue checkmark, another drinker of the soy. Comics like the good old days, talking about Valkyrie and her hatred of men. Even though Valkyrie is a villain that turned female heroes into villains in the hatred of men. You, sir, you are a soy-drinking man, baby, who doesn't even know what you're talking about in the industry you work for. Get yourself a comic or two, because you don't know what you're talking about. But you know who does know what they're talking about? You know who does know about comics? Chuck Dixon and his Trump Space Force with Tim Lim and Brett R. Smith. Now, I have to say, America, that there's a lot going on in comics. There's a bleeding cool article talking about C.B. Cebulski and how he needs to remove the politics from comics. Well, gee, Cebulski bot, You know, we all know you're controlled by Bendis and his ridiculous non-invasion of comics. But you know what? We never thought you'd actually admit it, that comics have become too politicized. Thank you, Just Some Guy, for bringing this to my attention. You are a proud American patriot, and we owe you a debt that can never be paid for your work with comic books. Now, let's bring up this article. C.B. Cebulski, we can't get too deep into politics. Comics still have to entertain. We've been saying that for 4 years, Cebulski. You've only been in charge for 2. And in 2 years, you haven't fixed a damn thing. Why is that, Cebulski? Huh? Well, maybe it's because you're controlled by the Bendis and Ridiculous 9. Let's get into this article. Marvel has long adhered to the model of representing the world outside your window, telling stories with political messages since Captain America was punching Hitler in the face. In today's politically charged climate, will Marvel continue to take a bold stance on the issues of the day? Well, in a recent episode of the World Balloon podcast, host John Suintris played a recording of a panel led at Terrificon featuring Marvel editor-in-chief C.B. Cebulski, the Cebulski bot himself, as well as 2 Marvel writers, Charles Soule and Nick Spencer. Well, 3 writers if you count Cebulski's alter ego, Akira Yoshida. Well, he doesn't like to talk about that. Now, but that's neither here nor there. Basically, I'm just going to cut to the chase. Cebulski said they need to remove the politics from comics. Cebulski, yes, politics have been in comics, but through good storytelling. It wasn't the entire meal. It was the garnish, the thing of the side, the appetizer, if you will, but never the full meal. Never what was the entirety of the comic, like what we have today. All right, America. I think I've said enough about what's going on in the world of comics today. But I'm going to leave you with one final shill, one final pitch for good soy-free indies. Check out Sporkman, which should be hitting Indiegogo in 8 days. Help get it colored and in a trade paperback. But if you can't wait that long to read it, know that you can go to Comic Central and you can get it on there and get it for a good price. Help support my man, my personal friend, Sporkman, and read good quality soy-free comics. Farewell, America. Till tomorrow.